I think we got to talk about all the coaching news that's gone on in the NBA, from Sam Cassell, all right, joining the Boston Celtics again, to we got other news right over here. So much NBA hirings in terms of like coaches. Terry Stotts is another one we got right here that joined the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay. And I'm mind blown by the amount of coaches this week we saw just literally get hired. Another one, James Borrego. We'll talk about them all in one because it makes no sense to single them out. Just talk. I mean, maybe we'll spend more on another one. But James Borrego is the lead assistant for the New Orleans Pelicans now. Kevin Young is the highest paid assistant in the NBA to remain on the Phoenix Suns staff with Frank Vogel. Alrighty. And then we also had Kevin Ollie join the Brooklyn Nets. What are your thoughts on all these coaches getting hired? What does it mean? I personally think it's because what we were talking about the other week, there's parity in the NBA now, and NBA teams are realizing we need better coaching to exert the most potential from every player on this roster.
And Kevin Ollie went to the Nets?
Yeah, Kevin Ollie went to the Nets, joined Jacques Vaughn's coaching staff.
Big for them. Yeah, I think we heard a lot of the rumblings like all year. This is something where if you watch like a Spurs game, though, they're pretty big on like a team like the Spurs or the Celtics.
They have a huge
like
coaching staff.
A team with like a good
bench.
Yeah, but they have like the track record for having that and producing that. Like that's when you see. I feel like it's on those broadcasts where you really hear like, yeah, this is a former, Will Hardy or whoever it is, former staffer for blah blah blah. I think it's super important. Like Sam going to Boston's huge. All those moves are huge. I think having Kevin Young still like being the highest paid assistant coach, I think that's huge. I really actually like the Frank Vogel hiring. I get that his name was a little. I mean, he got fired from the Lakers. So,
they said that he was the guy they wanted all along.
I love it. I really think he's perfect. I think no disrespect at all to Kevin Love, to Kevin Young. I just think if you
Kevin
have
Love had a good game last night.
If I have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, like I want Frank Vogel. I don't want a first-year head coach, even if he's coming off the bench and he's fully deserving. His time will come. Like we just traded KD. Let's get a guy who's got a ring. Who's been here before.
I completely agree, and I think he's a guy that like he's gonna get this. This team's problem was defense. They needed better defense, and by getting this guy, Frank Vogel's at least going to fix the defense. The offense doesn't need to be fixed. You got one of the best offensive duos in the league between Booker and Durant.
Yeah, you just need more depth, and I think they'll take a similar approach to what Denver's been doing last offseason specifically in getting Brown and KCP. I think, imagine if Brown and KCP were on the Suns. You'd be like, oh, shit. Obviously, there are still their holes, but fuck.
Like they're still gonna have to go out and get depth, but if they get guys who can play defense, I personally think then you got yourself a guy in Frank Vogel who's going to be able to coach up this team, in my opinion. So I'm very interested to see like who or why this is gonna like. I just think it's very interesting the way this is playing out. Your thought?
Yeah, Suns are exciting.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's interesting. But with that being said, do you think the coaching staff of, if you call it like when you look at a team like Terry Stotts joined the Bucks, Adrian Griffin, and then James Borrego joining Willie Green, and then we got other guys like I said, Willie Green got James Borrego, Kevin Ollie joined the Nets. Terry Stotts to the Milwaukee Bucks. I think that's everyone. Well, any of
Damn,
those guys?
that's crazy.
Yeah, I
I
think
did
Terry
not see
Stotts
that.
gonna help Adrian Griffin with offense. Personally, that's what I see. Which of those? Kevin Ollie, I think he just wanted to be back in the NBA.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts?
I can hear myself. I don't know why. Stop. Terry Stotts. I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, I
Guess
think
that's
that's
what
because
happens when you got no Wi-Fi.
I think Terry Stotts, they brought him because he's like an offensive genius, and Adrian Griffin's more a defense coach, and so I think they're gonna have him coach the offensive side of the ball and be like the offensive coordinator for Adrian Griffin, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think NBA teams fire coaches too quickly. I think you have situations like Steven Salas where it's like this isn't the freaking guy. But then there's also like, Joe Mazzulla had just gotten fired. But and you see it so much more in the NFL where you'll have these guys be, like I don't know why this came to my head, but like Matt Nagy, the old coach for the Chicago Bears, in his first season, takes him to the playoffs and then gets basically like dragged from his feet out of the city of Chicago, like get the fuck out of town. Then he's like the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Andy Reid is, but he's the QB coach or whatever. Like having these guys,
Matt Nagy,
I feel like you
now
just
the
see it
offensive
in
coordinator.
football where you have this big tree of good coaches, and in basketball they're just like firing, and then like he goes here, and then he goes here, and goes here. But in football, it's like a demotion. Like now you got to be, QB coach for your offensive coordinator, and then maybe one day you'll be a coach again. But Josh McDaniel, great example.
Yeah, no.
I love coaching stories in basketball, and I don't think the NBA. I don't even know if it's the NBA's fault for doing this. I think it's just a different game. There's only 5 people on the court at once, that it often is overlooked. And if we're talking coaches, you only think about your head coach, and maybe people think about an assistant coach. I think most people actually don't know their assistant coach on their favorite basketball teams.
Oh, people don't know. Yeah, no, people don't go that deep looking for who are the assistants.
Yeah. So it's cool when you have trees like Boston or San Antonio that are just producing these proteges, and then these guys get their gigs, and it's just cool.
No, I agree, and
you don't hear about it.
You don't hear about it, and like Kevin Ollie, I think after missing out on this coaching job, he just wanted to go somewhere where he could get the opportunity to, be in the NBA, be around it as a coach, because he's never coached as an assistant in the NBA. So for me, I think he's a guy that definitely wanted just to be around the game regardless of being a head coach or not. And I think this was a perfect opportunity for him. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I think, if he wasn't going to end up being
a head
coach for the Pistons, the head coach for the Pistons, 100%, go get some more, go make more connections.
Exactly.
Who knows what's going to happen. Enjoy it. Brooklyn's probably pretty fun. And thank you, Tom. Well.
No, mega. And I think a lot of these moves are also because like they're just people don't realize like how important it is to have like a good coaching staff, like that can delegate for the head coach, because the head coach can't do everything, Yeah. And a lot of these guys, people don't realize some coaches are player development, some coaches are like X and O's, other coaches are like, more of a, I guess you would say, like they're more practice coaches, like running drills. Like there are certain coaches that are better at other things than other coaches, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I think people don't realize that basketball, like we think of football, there's an offensive coordinator, there's a defensive coordinator, there's a special team. People don't realize that like there's a similar setup for basketball, just like we don't use the same names. There's guys who are the defensive coordinators that specifically works on the X and O's and the defensive rotations and schemes, and then there's other guys who specifically work on what offense we're running, and then other guys who just work on developing and training the guys.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I love basketball, but football, I think, like Football is as close to a perfect product as you can get. Like it really is. Like,
Well,
there's just something about football. I don't
it's
know,
just
like
because
a
there's like
defensive line coach. Fuck yeah, dude.
yeah, there's D line coaches. Like, yeah, there's way more coaching in football.
Special teams coach. Fuck yeah.
Fuck
Give me all of
yeah.
that. Win or go home. Fuck yeah. The Chicago fucking Bulls were beating the Miami Heat with 3 minutes left in this stupid second playing bullshit game. God damn it. It's off topic and irrelevant, but it's just some bull. It's some fucking bull.
You're not a fan?
Well, it sucks. It hurts. It stings. We're up 3 with 3 to play. I know it's not a huge lead, but they just won a game in Denver in the NBA Finals. Like, it's just nuts.
No, I agree. And like the crazy part is that they snagged a game in Denver, which is like pretty important if you were trying to win this series, is snagging a game in Denver.
Oh yeah. Now the finals officially started. The finals don't start till, or playoff series doesn't start till an away team gets a win, or a road team gets a win. And I thought it was so funny, all the suits. Like, I was walking up the stairs from my hotel and I was out of breath. And they throw up like the above sea level, and Miami's like 6 feet above sea level, and Denver is way more than 6 feet.
It really
every
is
time I see Denver, what?
No, I think they overrate how
altitude-y it is.
Yeah, like I've been to Denver and I don't feel it. Maybe I just have good cardiovascular shape.
Yeah, I don't know if like Stan Van Gundy's in the healthiest frame, but
I don't think he is. But
I just find it so funny. But every time I watch a Denver sports game, like whether it's the Broncos or the Nuggets, or the Rockies especially, I think the Rockies are like one of the coolest teams in the league. Like, I just want to live in Denver. I don't know. I want to live in Denver. That's the end of the statement. I just kind of want to like see what it's like. I've been to Denver one time, and not enough to get, the gist, the jive, the vibe
I like
of it.
Denver.
Everyone says like, oh, it's a bunch of not libtards, but like
Wooks, granola.
Yeah, maybe a little, like I'd fit in. My outfit right now would fit in. Like I'd be just another Denver dude. But
it would just be another Denver dude.
Is progressive the word I'm looking for, or is that more of like
libtard, granola? It's granola. Wooks.
I'm not trying. Libtards is definitely not what I'm looking for. I think progressive is the word I'm looking for.